Hello, this is Bill Doherty from OutBack Power. I will be starting the webinar selling battery-based storage systems very soon. Hello, this is Bill Doherty from OutBack Power. I will be starting the webinar selling battery-based storage systems shortly. All right, well, let's get started here. My name is Bill Doherty, and I am the Eastern Regional Sales Manager here at OutBack Power. As of April 1st, actually, my territory is going to be from Texas north to Minnesota and everything east. So I'm looking forward to working with many of you for the first time. And, just want to review today selling battery-based storage systems and how OutBack can help you speed up the sales process here. And there is a chat portion of this, so if you do have questions, please add your chat questions, and I'll get to that at the end. So today, what we're going to review is storage growth and sales opportunities, the applications, battery options, and most importantly, the SystemEdge solution to selling storage. And it is rather easy once you break it down. Just want to review and introduce to many of you who are not aware, OutBack was purchased by EnerSys in December of 2018. EnerSys is a global leader in storage energy solutions and actually one of the largest manufacturers of batteries in the US. EnerSys purchased Alpha and OutBack, and this gives OutBack vertical integration with our batteries. Adding the reserve power, motive power, and aerospace and defense portion of EnerSys, and then the broadband and telecommunication processes with Alpha, and then the renewable energy portion of OutBack really leads to great partnerships. The combined assets and revenue in 2018 was $3.1 billion. And I'm excited about this because solar is the solar roller coaster. And now with a backing of a publicly traded company, OutBack is really positioned well to continue and be here again for another 20 years like we have. And one of the great parts about sustainability at EnerSys is we are focused on lead acid manufacturing, which are 99% recyclable. So I have this slide up here for folks to focus on selling systems at the kitchen table or in the boardroom. I myself sold systems when I broke into the renewable energy field about 11 years ago. And I really learned a lot at the kitchen tables and the boardrooms. So hopefully after today's webinar, you have an idea of how to approach selling a system at the kitchen table and to speed up the process and to make it easier for you. So in the example on the left, salesperson number one, they're sitting at a kitchen table and they say, hey, let's design the perfect system for you. The homeowner says, great, what do I need? And here's what I need. And then after evaluating the system, after evaluating the loads, which is very critical, and then determining the roof size and what's capable and their utility needs, 3 hours later, for example, the salesperson indicates, all right, here we go. This will do everything you need and it will only cost you $50,000. And that homeowner is apprehensive about that cost. And they say, wow, you know, what can I get for 20 grand? Well, my hope is today that the sales folks go into this and have those prepackaged systems in their mind already, the cost associated with them, what power they can offset and the critical loads, what the total cost of the system is going to be, so you can quickly determine what the budget and needs are of your customer. So salesperson number two goes into it and says, okay, I've got a $20,000 package that will give you just about enough for the essentials that you've reviewed. And then also we have a $30,000 package that can take care of your fridge and lighting. And then we have a $50,000 package that will support all of your critical loads that you had brought up and mentioned. And the homeowner can easily assess their budget and say, great, tell me more about that $20,000 option. Here I want to review in this picture what a SystemEdge solution at OutBack looks like. And when I refer to SystemEdge, it's a package deal, okay? So in this example right here on the right in the middle, this is with our new Skybox 5 kW inverter charger. It's an all-in-one solution. It's very easy to program. It's intuitive, has a 5-port design. And then when you operate it as well with batteries, this would be considered a SystemEdge package. And in this example, we have an IBR3, an interior battery rack, 3 shelf. You can see here the disconnects. It's all powder coated. It comes with the wires and the bus bars as well. So this is an all-in-one solution or SystemEdge. And then also with the existing products that we've had, here is an example of another SystemEdge package where it's our components along with batteries. You can see the Mate 3S there for programming. And this also would be considered a separate SystemEdge package. I just wanted to show you a picture with 2 options so you can understand what a SystemEdge package is. Right now, we're going to review storage growth and sales opportunities. So I'm sure many of you have seen similar charts to this. And the growth of residential solar and storage over the next 5 years is expected to increase 10 times. And you can see the chart here. In 2018, the estimate that was going to be installed was 100 megawatt. And this is behind the meter solutions. And then in 2019, it's expected for 200 megawatt to be installed. 2020, the expectation is 400 megawatt. 2021, 600 megawatt, and 2022, 800 megawatt. Solar installations themselves are expected to stay relatively flat, but within those solar installations, storage is expected to grow considerably. So I'm sure that's why many of you are on this call today to anticipate that growth. So that growth and the drivers, what's changing today in the market? Well, traditionally, Energy storage was used for off-grid, whether that was because you were too far from the utility, rural electrification, or design, sizing the battery to meet all your loads. OutBack, for almost 20 years now, has been known as an off-grid solution, and we still are. And then also, when it comes to grid tied with battery backup, OutBack has been known as a leader in this as well, whether it's because you're doing this because of an unreliable grid, you have storms, uninterrupted power supply, or design criteria. So OutBack, that has traditionally been what we've been known for, but over the past 10 years, that's changed, and especially now with Skybox. So what are the new usages of energy storage? Well, utilities are changing or not allowing net metering. For example, in Hawaii. Hawaii does not allow net metering, so self-consumption is very popular there. When you're installing a PV system, it comes along with batteries there. So this is a way to offset the non-net metering, self-consume, and take advantage of your batteries. As well as the utility pricing is increasing to make storage more competitive, whether it's time of use or peak shaving. So in a lot of areas now, especially out west, time of use occurs, where from 4 to 8 o'clock, you're not able, the utility charges you more for a kilowatt hour. Well, wouldn't it be great to disconnect from the grid, use your storage from that 4 to 8 o'clock time period, and take advantage of your batteries, not pay that absorbent cost of electricity. And then a third market driver is customers want on-site energy storage production and storage for energy independence. You know, I'm not a doomsayer where, hey, the end of the world's coming tomorrow, but people want independence, and storage is a way to do that. I was really shocked by these numbers, and the need for backup power and utility outages are increasing. So you can see in 2014, 14 million people lost power and got affected by outages. And that number is increasing. In 2017, it was over 36 million people. I would like to see the numbers for 2018 with the unfortunate fires, as well as a lot of flooding and volatile weather. And we all know that that volatility is only going to increase with climate change. So this is a great opportunity to provide your customers backup power. So the applications. There's 3 basic applications for storage today, and one, for example, is a new installation. You have a customer that's looking for an 8 kW PV array to be installed on their home. Well, you have the opportunity to lead with storage today. It'll increase your revenue, it'll increase your margins, and it'll set you aside from many of the other installers in your area. A lot of installers today are leading with storage. That's salesperson number 2, where you have all your material that you need. You lead with storage, you review the budget and the capabilities, and then you let the homeowner or the customer determine if storage is right for them, whether it's for application or for budget. So new installations are a great opportunity and should be presented, hopefully, with storage going forward. But retrofit and replacing existing grid-tied inverters and AC coupling are also great markets for storage today. So retrofitting a grid-tied PV system. Why do you add batteries? There are a lot of reasons for that. But for those installers that have existing customer bases, there's a lot of points that are positive for storage. As many of you know, customer acquisition is the leading cost for a PV installation. So if you can use your existing customers that already understand the benefits of solar and educate them on storage, that's going to be a great boost for you. You already have a relationship with that past customer. You have their names and contact information. They already know what to expect. and the existing PV system owner typically wants backup power. So if you envision that you have a central inverter and you can literally remove that central inverter and replace that with a skybox, for example, in this picture, you can move some or all of the existing PV array to the skybox. So replacing that grid-tied inverter, what are the advantages and disadvantages? Well, for the advantages, it's best battery management. It's most efficient charging, and it's the best approach to battery longevity. You can also disable charging from the grid. It's a simpler version, and it's one vendor system. And hopefully I relay here throughout this webinar that when you purchase products through OutBack, especially SystemEdge, you're purchasing from one source, the batteries and the components. So we are responsible for those products, and there's no finger pointing. And I'll bring that up throughout this presentation. And it's easiest for generator integration. So with OutBack products, generator support is built in, and there's no external transfer switch needed. So that is one of the big advantages that OutBack has, that most of our products operate with generators, which is awesome. The disadvantages to replacing a grid-tied inverter, for example, our FM100, it may require some array configuration with the string sizing. So there might be some time on the roof required. And it may trigger changes to the interconnection agreement. So you must check with the AHJs prior to the installation to make sure that there's no change or update of the interconnection agreement that is required. So first of all, this is a great system. Wish this was my home. You can see here on the right, lead acid or AGM batteries, very large system. And I'm assuming this is a 24 kW radiant system, because a radiant can be up to 8 kW. You can stack actually 10 of them. And in this example, let's assume it's a 24 kW. So AC coupling is using the existing grid-tied inverter to charge batteries and run loads during an outage. So if you envision you have that existing central inverter or Enphase and SolarEdge, you're able to AC couple to that existing inverter. And then what you're doing, the advantages are, you're making use of existing hardware of that grid-tied inverter and that PV array. It's a less disruptive installation, little to no time on the roof because you are not changing up the string sizing. And it's more efficient export because that grid-tied inverter efficiency is not impacted during normal operations. The disadvantages of AC coupling, it's more difficult to integrate with a generator because of that central inverter, but there are additional hardware and components that we can provide for this to occur, and it is and requires a careful design work. It's difficult to ensure non-exporting when the grid is active, and it's less efficient battery charging than DC coupling with a PV charger because of that central inverter as well. So we've just announced and rolled out our AC coupling with our Radiant. Huge opportunities here to go to your existing customers with either a retrofit or to AC couple to their existing grid-tied inverter. If that grid-tied inverter's 10 years old, coming to the end of life, you know, I would think about a retrofit. If that existing inverter is 2 years old, AC coupling is a perfect option. So as I mentioned before, a lot of people think OutBack is focused on off-grid, and here's an example of an off-grid product. 6 to 10 kilowatt hours is the average battery bank size. Most important attributes of the energy storage for off-grid is reliability, of course, because there's no second source typically, availability, and cost. And almost 20 years ago, this is how OutBack started, and we've been the leader in the industry ever since. Also, with grid tied with battery backup is a huge portion of OutBack's business. This is mostly in existing home construction. And when you're talking about grid tied with battery backup, lead acid is the most economical decision and the best decision. I think of Florida. You receive, unfortunately, for example, 2 hurricanes a year. You lose power for 5 days each time. That's 10 times a year you need to utilize your storage. Lead acid or AGM batteries are considerably less expensive than lithium. So if you do not need that cycle life, and lithium has great cycle life, and our partner Simplify provides a great 3.5 kilowatt hour product. In this example though, for battery backup, I would go with an AGM battery every time because of the economic decision that you have. And I'll go into batteries a little more detail with the couch potato, as I call it, and the marathon runner when it comes to AGMs. The average battery bank size is 9 to 26 kilowatt hours. And the most important attributes in energy storage with grid tied and battery backup is cost, reliability, and availability. So also grid tied now, especially with our Skybox, for time of use or peak shaving, this is also a great opportunity in the market today for storage. 1 in every 3 customers ask about energy storage. Lead acid is most economical, and lithium is a very viable option in grid time, with time of use, peak shaving, and off-grid. Most important attributes when considering energy storage is cost, cycle life, and reliability. Cycle life jumps in here because you are going to be cycling these batteries often, probably daily. So cycle life comes into play. Lithium is a perfect solution. Another one of the advantages that OutBack has is with vertical integration with EnerSys now, but also we're not trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, meaning we are not just pitching one type of battery solutions. OutBack has lead acid, even flooded lead acid, and lithium solutions. So we're able to provide the right product for the right application. And typically they come all from one source as well. So again, we're responsible for the array. So again, there's the picture of the Skybox with the BOS, super easy to program. You have an older existing system there. What are the battery options that OutBack can provide? So we have flooded lead acid that I'll review briefly. We have AGM or lead acid batteries, and we have lithium. And again, we're not trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. Whatever the application is, OutBack has the proper solution for it. And we're not just trying to push, for example, lithium. So SystemEdge. Here is an example of a SystemEdge solution. You have the Skybox. It's super easy to program. You have the BOS, and you have a lithium solution. And then also we have our Flex Power Radiant here. This is an 8 kW Radiant. It comes pre-wired and factory tested on a pallet. Super easy to install. You screw in a bracket on the wall. 2 people typically lift up the Radiant from the pallet, install it on the wall, screw it in. This really helps eliminate error in the field of wiring and also is a huge time saver. So these are 2 examples of the SystemEdge package that we can provide. So the batteries, flooded lead acid. This isn't really going to be the focus today, but just to make you aware, we have flooded lead acid batteries, typically for off-grid or telecommunication. Watering is required. Equalization cycling is periodically required. There are some safety concerns. It is spillable, has to be upright, and must be vented. The advantages of flooded lead acid, it's good deep cycle life. more tolerant to improper recharging voltages. It has a super low initial upfront cost for high power density. This is typically for an off-gridder that does not mind maintaining the system. The primary focus, of course, though, for OutBack is the lead acid or AGM and also lithium. So the valve regulated lead acid or AGM absorbent glass mat really focuses on grid interactive, off-grid, UPS, and especially backup power and emergency vehicles. It's maintenance free, has a superior shelf life, and does not require equalization. Often people do ask me, is AGM sealed? Absolutely. AGM batteries, ours are sealed, spill proof, leak proof. Now it has good cycle life ability at a 50% depth of discharge. Here at OutBack, we base our production off of 50% depth of discharge. We typically do not recommend having a discharge below 50% because that will affect cycle life of your AGM batteries. But in the example that I provided in Florida, where you're only using those batteries, hopefully not, but 10 times a year because of the hurricane, well, you know what? If you have a more aggressive depth of discharge there, you might not need the cycle lives going forward. So there is flexibility there. And the charge voltage must be limited, and it does have a low initial upfront cost. Well, with lithium and our partner Simplify, the applications are deep cycling, so off-grid, time of use is perfect, peak shaving, hybrid vehicles. It's maintenance free. Must be used with an onboard battery management system to prevent overcharging, over-discharging, or thermal runaway. So a lot of people ask me, hey, does this type of lithium battery work with OutBack? The most critical part is that it has the BMS, the battery management system. Simplify has a battery management system, operates properly with OutBack. So if you do have examples of other batteries, even prior to reaching out to OutBack, just please consider it has to have its own BMS. Superior cycling ability. Charge conditions must be controlled. It does have a high initial upfront cost, but the cycling is awesome. 10,000 cycle lives. You know, really very aggressive. So here are some examples of our solutions for batteries. When I break down AGM batteries, I think of a marathon runner and a couch potato. A marathon runner is off-grid, is time of use, the low initial upfront cost of AGM batteries. And right now, the example of that with OutBack is our 200 NC nanocarbon. You can see here our interior battery rack. This is an IBR2. It holds 8 of our AGM batteries. And the nanocarbon is focused on frequent cycles. It must be cycled frequently. It's a marathon runner. It wants to do time of use. It wants to be off-grid. And then, of course, as I mentioned, we have Simplify. And we do now also have IBR2 and 3 specifically focused for lithium, which is great. And so with Simplify, you get 3.5 kilowatt hours per battery. So it's a great solution for high density and high cycle needs. And then today, our couch potato battery, so to speak, is the 200 PLR. And this actually is an EnerSys battery. So we are fully integrated with the 200 PLR. This is a couch potato. This is ideal for battery backup. It can sit there for 24 months and be ready to be used. It will not be damaged and cycle life will not be affected. So this is an ideal solution for backup power. And then coming soon, we're going to have the 200 HLC, which will ultimately replace the 200 NC. And this is, again, an EnerSys battery. So we're moving more towards fully integration with our AGM batteries, which is great for me. And I'm really excited about that partnership and being owned now by EnerSys. So flooded lead acid, you know, really designed for off-grid applications, high density, low cost, does require maintenance. So just to make everyone aware, we also have high capacity 2-volt AGM batteries. This is a lot of power. 672 amp hours to 2,288. 1,800 cycle life at a 50% depth of discharge, 6 months shelf life. I think of a home in Florida that wants AC or cooling. You need a lot of power for that. You need a lot of storage, and our AGM batteries are perfect for that. Again, not trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. We also have Simplify with our lithium solutions for that as well. So SystemEdge. So the solutions that we can provide for you are many with SystemEdge. And one of the most important things, as I mentioned, is one SKU, one support, one source with our SystemEdge packages. So I've showed you the components that come along with our SystemEdge package, but I also want to mention the 2014 rapid shutdown compliancy that we have as well with SystemEdge. So the complete package with SystemEdge, it's either Skybox or, for example, that Flex Power pre-wired radiant. You got the storage and the energy cells, and you have the 2014 rapid shutdown. You have Optics RE, which is our online monitoring program, very robust, can save installers on truck rolls because you can see how the system is operating. You can even change up some of the parameters. And also with SystemEdge and our products, you can download full configuration files to make it seamless during the installation of programming. And one note, with Skybox now and the AGM batteries, if you purchase our batteries with Skybox, the settings of the batteries and the information is already downloaded into that Skybox. So it really can save you time and time in the field and money. It's package pricing and single SKU offering. So in this example, you have a PV array on the roof. You have our combiner box. You have the disconnect for the fire people. And then also 1 foot requirement for the 2014 NEC. And typically down on the ground next to the meter is the RSI, the rapid shutdown initiator. Then in this example, you have our Skybox. You have storage, and then which is critical, you have typically the sub panel for the critical loads that you'd like to power. The refrigerator, the lights, the AC, etc. And don't forget, especially with Skybox, we have our generator, which you're able to function properly with a generator. And then the inverter charger acts like a typical grid-tied inverter where you can provide your power to your panel and then to the grid for net metering. So here are some examples of the SystemEdge solution with our Skybox. So here on the left, we have our Skybox with Simplify. Great for time of use, off-grid, unreliable grid. And hopefully soon, we're also going to have LG Chem. And then currently, we have the Skybox with our NC, the Marathon Runner battery, and the Skybox with the PLR, the couch potato, perfect for backup applications. So there's a Flex Power Radiant. And also, we do have other solutions with our FXR inverter. For example, on the left here, this is great for a cabin. This is a Flex Power 1, a 3.6 inverter, 3.6 kW inverter. And then this is a Flex Power 2. So we have a lot of solutions that can meet your needs. We also have the batteries. We got the Optics RE that I had mentioned. And of course, the charge controllers and the communications that come along with the SystemEdge packages. Really, when it comes down to it, in a SystemEdge package, the only other products that you have to purchase typically are fuses or breakers, 15 or 20 amps, typically depending on what gauge wire you're using. So the SystemEdge is an all-in-one solution. So let's make it simpler for you. With SystemEdge, it's only one SKU, and the SE stands for SystemEdge. The first number here, the 8, stands for the inverter AC output. And then the second number and third number is the approximate energy storage capacity. So in this example, it's 28.8 kilowatt hours, but you have to take consideration 50% depth of discharge. So 14.4 kilowatt hours. And then also the battery type, the PLR, the couch potato, all right? And then also the -300 stands for the FM100 charge controller. I hope you get out of this that with the AGM batteries, there's 2 types. So depending on your customer needs, it's either today the NC or the PLR, depending on the application. PLR, pure backup, okay? So just be aware of that. And when you have an opportunity, reach out to OutBack and we'll lead you in the right direction when it comes to battery selection. So again, we're back to this slide, and hopefully you go into these opportunities knowing the cost of a complete system, not only with storage, but with PV and the whole installation itself. You can pitch that to the customer, whether it's on the phone or in person at the kitchen table. You can easily get down to what's their budget and what backup components are going to be able to be backed up and loaded in the critical load center. And then this is going to be a faster, more professional presentation for you. You're going to be able to hopefully present this to more people. If you're leading with storage, you're going to sell more systems. And that transition of people leading with storage is happening all over the US today. So here are some examples. And by the way, this MSRP pricing is exactly that. You are not, as an installer, going to see these pricings from your distributors. So please reach out to your local distributor. Ask them about the SystemEdge packages that can be provided. But I just want to let you know that we have a lot of solutions and a lot of varying options for you. And for example, here's that SE830 PLR-300. All right, with the 8 kW radiant, 14.4 kilowatt hours of backup power with 50% depth of discharge. You got the PLR battery, the couch potato, the backup, and then you have our rapid shutdown compliance. And then here is an example with Simplify. So you got the SystemEdge 514 PHI-SBX. So what is that? Okay. SystemEdge, a 5 kW inverter with our Skybox, 14.4 kilowatt hours of backup power or power with Simplify, and you have the rapid shutdown when it comes to the Skybox. All right. So I do quickly just want to go to our website, and I am working from a hotel, so the connection's a little slow. But if you were to click on our main page under installer, you would get a drop-down window where you can go to products, okay? And here are our pre-bundled solutions for SystemEdge. Here is the energy storage options. Here are the integrated flex power systems that you can purchase separately outside of SystemEdge. And then if I were to click on to the all pre-bundled solutions, that'll bring you to this page where here we go, we can start sifting through and selecting the different options of the SystemEdge packages that we have. Can provide you the spec sheets, the information, and this is an example of the SystemEdge 830 PLR-300 that we've been speaking about. And I do want to highlight that if you were to click on to resources and then solar plus storage training program, this is OutBack's training program that is always recommended for a grid-tied inverter that's transitioning to off-grid and storage, or if you want a refresher. And if you scroll down, you can see the various locations and dates that we host this program, either in Phoenix, Arizona, or Arlington, Washington, which is where OutBack is located. And then also under resources, we have the old webinars that we've done. And if you were to click onto that, today, for example, selling battery-based storage systems. But if you scroll down, I do want to highlight one of the critical aspects of determining the loads and the requirements for storage is a sizing tool and properly sizing those the loads. If you were to click onto this OutBack Power system sizing tool, it's a webinar similar to this that steps you through our sizing tool and how to operate it so you can properly size a system. If an installer does not take time to properly size the system, that's going to lead to issues not only for that installer, but most importantly, that homeowner or commercial user. You want to size the system properly. And I'm going to request that folks that have attended this webinar, we do email out our system sizing tool in the form of an Excel spreadsheet. All right? So I just wanted to review that for all. So we're going to have some questions going forward, hopefully in chat. And then also sales@outbackpower.com is our inside sales team. Super knowledgeable, very responsive. I go to them when I have detailed questions. So just want to make everyone aware that you can reach out to sales @ or for me on the eastern portion of the US, here's my email, BillDoherty@outbackpower.com. All right, so let's go to the chat here and see some questions. So now's a great time if you want to send in any questions with chat, that would be great. So I'm actually not seeing any questions. So I've done such a good job today. It was so detailed that there are not any questions, which I find hard to believe. So again, when you approach an opportunity for storage and you have the solutions up front and know the cost, the flexibility, the capabilities of these systems, if you're not leading with storage today, maybe you start getting some training with our ESSP class that I highlighted. And once you're comfortable, you start leading with storage. And then you're going to sell more systems, you're going to have more success, and especially with that growth that's expected of storage going forward, you know, it has to be a big portion, hopefully, of your business going forward. Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. And I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to attend this. And I look forward to working with many of you going forward. Well, thank you very much and have a great day.